as Pakistan's Foreign Secretary and subsequently as Ambassador to Washington. He stood at the very front lines of diplomacy, navigating some of the most turbulent waters in South Asia's modern history. His previous work, Diplomatic Footprints, offered a rare insight into chronicles of diplomacy as experienced by a practitioner, candid, thoughtful, and deeply instructive. In this new volume of work, he turns his seasoned gaze to what is perhaps the most enduring and vexing relationship in the region, if not the world, that between Pakistan and India. This book is not simply a recounting of history. It is an insider's dissection of why, despite shared geography, intertwined cultures, and multiple peace initiatives, mistrust has proven so persistent and so intractable. Ambassador Chaudhry situates his analysis at the intersection of history, politics, and diplomacy. He lays bare how legacies of partition, the unresolved dispute of Jammu and Kashmir, cycles of war and failed peace, triggered by India's quest for regional dominance, and the shadow of terrorism that has wreaked havoc for Pakistan's security and development perspective, have entrenched hostility. At the same time, he examines the broader geopolitical context, from the Cold War to the US-China rivalry, showing how global currents have consistently washed onto South Asia's shores, amplifying tensions rather than diffusing them. What makes this work particularly valuable to the vantage point is the vantage point of the author himself. This is not the voice of an academic observing from afar, but of a diplomat who has sat across the table in moments of crisis and dialogue. His reflections are informed by lived experiences, by the hard choices, the near misses, and the fleeting windows of opportunity that only a practitioner can fully appreciate and comprehend. Ladies and gentlemen, yet this book is not merely diagnostic. It is prescriptive too. It challenges both nations to recognize the perils of perpetual confrontation and to explore avenues from trade and geoeconomics to people exchanges and cooperative security frameworks that might rehumanize a relationship long stripped of empathy. In doing so, Ambassador Chaudhry does not offer false optimism. Instead, he offers what might one call informed hope, the kind of hope that is tempered by history but not extinguished, the kind of hope that insists that geography need not condemn neighbors to hostility forever. At a time when South Asia finds itself again at an inflection point, with the recent confrontations exposing the dangers of escalation, this book is both timely and necessary. It is an invitation to scholars, policymakers, and students alike to revisit old assumptions, to examine uncomfortable truths, and to ask whether the next chapter of this relationship must be written in the same ink as the last. Ladies and gentlemen, what strikes me particularly while reading this book is how starkly it illustrates the asymmetry between how easy it has been for India and Pakistan to fall into conflict, and how extraordinarily difficult it has been for them to build peace. As one poet once put it, for war, no reason is ever required, but for peace, we search endlessly for reasons. This, to me, is the heart of the challenge. The structural disputes are real and often bitter, and India's quest for hegemony so stark and sustained, but so too is the absence of imagination. The ability to envision a relationship not defined solely by guile or grievance. Ambassador Chaudhry reminds us that the act of rehumanizing the other is itself a form of strategic thinking. It is not sentimentality. In the nuclear age, it is a survival imperative. Ambassador Aizaz Ahmad Chaudhry has given us not only an authentic word on a subject of great import, but a framework for reflection, a map drawn from both scholarship and statecraft. In that sense, Pakistan-India relations, fractured past, uncertain future, is more than a chronicle of an enduring acrimony or grievances. It is a guide to possibilities. It reminds me of a couplet, तुम आए हो न शबे इंतज़ार गुजरी है, तलाश में है सहर बार बार गुजरी है. Peace in South Asia, home to a quarter of humanity, has always been elusive in the face of India's intransigence and obduracy. But let's hope, ladies and gentlemen, that the past and present does not define the future. It is my honor to commend this work to you and to welcome the accomplished author who has so ably combined the pen of a scholar with the wisdom of a discerning diplomat. I thank you all.